This conference will now be recorded.
All right, is everything going?
Yeah.
Okay, the atomic clock on the wall says 4:30, so we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let the minutes reflect, is it going? Let the minutes reflect that Counselor Arnold and Counselor Best and myself are here. Counselor Moore, are you present by go-to by chance? Counselor Moore, if you're joining us on go-to, if you can just let us know. Okay, let the minutes reflect Counselor Moore is not present here at the meeting at this time. All right, approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented in a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And did you have any corrections for the minutes? I did not.
No, sir.
No.
Okay, let the minutes be stand as presented then. Project update.
Right. Okay, so last week we closed North Garden again.
I saw your post on Facebook, but it said for all of y'all that keep moving the barriers and going through, there is no bridge.
The bridge is out. Yeah, they were moving them and kept on going through. Anyway, what you have your pictures left to right is just them removing the beams, then destroying the abutments which the beams sit on, the concrete abutments, and then you have the channel. So this week, they're excavating, will start forming the floor of the new structure. But the bridge is out and we hope to be done by Halloween and open it back up again. Then from there, we'll probably go to Atkinson and close Atkinson again.
Will you be making it any deeper or just?
No, it won't be any deeper.
Okay.
Not a very big structure. It's 10 by 5.
Okay.
And I stand for any questions on any of the other projects. On the inclusive park, the environmental department will do an inspection tomorrow. If we pass inspections and if the porta potties are there, we should be able to open. We'll just have a soft opening until there's a ribbon cutting or official opening.
And where are we at on the bridge out past Country Club?
That's the lower bridge. I believe the contract books are right in that box. Get the mayor to sign them. And we cannot start until October till the official monsoon season's over. But it's, just get the contracts signed by the mayor and everybody, have a pre-con, and we'll be in order materials and we're good to go.
Okay. Fantastic. Any questions on project updates thus far? Did you have anything else to add?
No, sir.
All right, airport infrastructure update.
The terminal parking lot is 61% complete. We expect it to be done by the end of August. The east side water line is complete. I received the last final invoice on that one. We're going to be talking with TSA this Wednesday on the safety plan for the apron. That's a 2020 grant. We have 1 year left on it, so we need to start moving on that. The next one is still on hold. There's no movement on Ascent. Master plan, I received one comment back from one of the TAC members, and I provided that to the engineering company. They're going ahead and reviewing those plans and implementing them, and also starting on the next chapters. The PER 1735, Geotech is waiting on that, but it is 50% complete on that. Once we get that, that will go to FAA for approval. BLM tanker base, we met with the engineers 2 weeks ago. And they are breaking up the task order into two different projects. The money that was put aside by BLM does not seem to be enough money to cover both projects. But the engineers were going to go back to some of their subs and see if they could get some of them lowered so that we can get them both completed. The rub hanger, Mr. Nahar provided some comments on the geotech report. I have submitted that to the engineers as well. The industrial park master plan.
On the rub hanger, what does that mean? Where are we at with that?
They are, I think he had just some minor comments on the way it was presented. We sent that back.
Well, you got to have the geotech so you can decide what you're gonna, what kind of foundation. So that's where we're at. Whoever's doing the engineering, I read the geotech.
The master plan that was awarded in July council meeting. We have protest period till July 31st. Once that comes, then we can send it out to the contractor. The ILEA HVAC, Honeywell was in town today, and so they're doing an assessment on the unit itself. The chiller is still, it's holding up. And we have heard from ILEA that they would like us to install the new one after their session ends in November. So we're still in negotiation with Transarrow on the 1166. And the whole bars, those are subject to installation the end of this month. Should be like a 21 day for completion. And the Southeast Water Line Phase 2, Mr. Nahar is working on a design cost so we can provide that to the county and hopefully move on with Phase 2 with the remaining funds that were appropriated by state.
I'm actually getting quotes for phase 2 and 3 itemized and from a consultant. So once we have real quotes, you guys can do what you need to do.
Okay.
Any questions?
Questions about the airport?
Have you heard from Ascent at all? Last time I heard, you hadn't even heard from him in January.
I have not heard from one of the employees last week. From Mr. Querio.
And the employee said, we're leaving, we're staying, we're standing on our head, undressing.
Was
What?
instructed to remove the hanger.
Okay. So in other words, we've lost that business. Okay. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Haven't heard anything official in writing.
Okay. Well, if they're going to remove the hangar, that kind of means.
They are going to keep their other buildings here and their aircraft.
Okay.
The main hangar looks like it.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, now to regular items, Department of Transportation agreement, the Elm Street Bridge.
Mr. Chairman and Infrastructure Committee, before you consider recommendation to approve project agreement with New Mexico DOT, control number 2014850 for bridge construction with New Mexico DOT to fund $2,440,000. This is Bridge 9199, which is going down the line of the worst bridges. This is the one behind the old burrito, next to the East Second splash pad. And basically, they're funding most of it because the DOT has money for local entities, and a lot of local entities don't know what to do with the money or can't move with the money. And we don't have that problem. So what you have before you is that. There is a little bit more money because I keep updating the engineer's estimate. Right now, I'm showing that at today's cost, we would have a match of $79,000. So
That's cheap.
I request recommendation of the project agreement and also request to go to consent.
Questions or discussion? We'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve project agreement with NMDOT for control number 2014850 for big bridge construction with NMDOT to fund $2.4 million to be added to the consent agenda.
Motion,
Second.
motion and a second that we send this for the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to RFP scope of work for the Safe Streets for All. Page 24.
Slide. So Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A, is a brand new grant agreement. In fact, the federal engineer that I'm dealing with in Santa Fe, this is the first year he's dealt with them, so it's a new program. And there's money out there from the federal government to build safety projects. But the first thing you do, you got to have a comprehensive and approved action plan. So I requested an application and we got the largest grant in the state to do an action plan. I see it as a big safety review of all the deaths, the accidents, the intersections and such around the state. So we will have an RFP, which you have the scope of work before you. And we'll get a vendor. We have to do the federal guidelines for the RFP. And we'll be coming back once we've done the RFP process and have a recommendation for award and for the city manager to enter contract with whoever is selected. On the screen, you just see the header page from that federal grant site. And the main thing is to reduce deaths to zero on streets. It's a big old safety plan. It'll probably take about 1.5 years to do. And we're just requesting the scope of work so we can advertise in August. I'll come back in October with a vendor. And I would also recommend that this scope of work go to consent.
Okay, questions? Counselor Arnold.
So that includes sidewalks.
Pedestrians, bicycles, streets, anything.
We definitely have the need of ADA bring in some areas and then.
Alameda.
I mean, the grant we have with our match is about 650,000. So that's a lot of engineering studies. And then coming up with and I mean,
Is there funding for after the study?
well, yeah, but what happens, we'll have a plan, we'll prioritize it. And then we can ask for money for priority number 1, priority number 2. And again, the way I envision this, the way the federal government is, the faster you can get a project up there and beat all the other entities, the more money you get. No matter being ready with the government.
Anything else? Well, we got back paths taken care of, right?
Yes,
All right. Moving that along.
that's what Grandpa did this weekend. I got 4 kids ready.
Oh, did you? You don't want to see me on a bicycle.
Mr. Chair,
All right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve scope of work for RFP 24-03 Safe Streets for All action plan funded by SS4A grant and City of Roswell to be added to the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion to recommend to full council the RFP scope of work, Safe Streets for All on the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. ICIP.
Hi, Mr. Chair, committee members, just for the sake of those that have not gone to this PowerPoint that might be online, I will go through the PowerPoint briefly just to describe the ICIP process as we do every year. So the ICIP is a plan that establishes planning priorities for anticipated capital projects. The ICIP process encourages entities to plan for the development of the capital improvement plan. The plan covers a 5-year period, which is we're in the period of 2025 to 2029. As you can see there on the slide, the submission deadlines for all of the entities, special districts, tribal governments, counties, and municipalities is Friday, August 18th for counties and municipalities. So we'll go to the next slide. So the process for this, the city of Roswell has followed is that we take all of the projects that the departments submit as their wish list, both, equipment, capital projects, infrastructure, and so forth, and we submit them to all of the committees for recommendation. So as we're going to be working on the 2025-2029 ICIP list for submission in August, this list will be used for the legislative session coming up in 2024, and it is a 30-day session, so it will be a quick session. We'll go to the next slide. What you see on that slide there is just the funding cycle of all of the different state agencies throughout, which incorporates in there the ICIP process.
Isn't that in first place? Thank you.
So we start in July, September. For example, we've gotten notices from the Water Trust Board. Again, for those that might be interested in applying. However, since we already have an application, we do not qualify for submission again. We may skip this year, and once we complete our project, we'll come back if the council chooses to submit another application to the Water Trust Board. So that just kind of gives a visual. That way everybody sees when the agencies come up, going through the legislative session, and of course, anything that doesn't get funded through all those different sources, we use our budget every year to try to fund some of our own capital projects. So we'll go to the next slide. So what you see here is last year's ICIP list. It was 2024, 2028. So resolution 2253 that the council adopted has the top 5 projects. As you can see, the number 1 project was the Country Club Reservoir. Number 2 was the storm drainage on Brasher. Number 3 was to replace large water diameter valves, police vehicles, sanitation shop remodel, the adult center deferred maintenance, and the air center terminal building. That was the resolution the council adopted. We'll go to the next slide. So this slide here, those projects that are underlined are the projects that were in the ICIP list. So as you can see, so the city received $2 million for the air center terminal expansion project, and we received $800,000 for the storm drain on Brasher, $300,000 for the water line valve replacement, and the Country Club project, reservoir project, we received a Water Trust Board grant for 45% and a loan of $4.4 million, as well as the Hobson Road Convention. So all of those that are underlined are the ones that made it on the ICIP that got funded. The junior bill, that was money that we received as well, $485,000 for PD vehicles. So that's how we fared out last year. So here we are going into the new legislative session coming up. So let's see how we'll do. But again, this is just to give you all a visual of how this process works. Just every year we go through the same exercise. We'll go to the next slide. So what you have in your packets is the list of all of the departments. It's just a sample of the police department. So we'll go through the list. Each department will present their projects, and we are asking the committee to make a recommendation of the top 2 for each of the departments. At the end, we do ask, in visiting the city clerk, she would like a motion once the top 2 projects are selected to be made, to be approved, recommended by motion. Is that correct, Ms. Clerk? Okay. If you don't like that, you can take it up with a mouth. We'll go to the next slide. So what you have here is the committee and all of the departments that report to the committees. So of course, we have the infrastructure. We'll cover all of those departments. Go to the next slide. And here we have just the dates of when all the committees are meeting. So after the infrastructure, we'll have the general services, legal, and then city council will be on the 13th. And at the council meeting for those councilors, again, we'll go through the general exercise, have all of the projects listed in big white sheets. The clerk, Madam Clerk, will be providing you all with some voting dots, and then you all get to vote on the top 5 projects. And staff will submit the ICIP list in its entirety on August 18th. And with that, Mr. Chair, I stand for any questions. And the first project, the first list is streets. And I will add, Mr. Chair, before Louis starts on his project, we did receive a request under streets for a project that's number 27. And Mr. Cole can also on that part on the 8th sidewalks. This project, at minimum, we would request that it just be listed in the SIP. It doesn't have to be any of the top two. And Louis can expand on the process on that, but with that, I'll.
If I could just very quickly, it shows that at 4:48, Counselor Moore has joined us by go-to. Counselor Moore, if you're there, if you can just respond so that we know that you are indeed with us.
I'm here.
All right, good to hear your voice. I hope you're doing well this summer. And I know life's busy right now, but thank you for joining us. We're in the ICIP section, which is number 6 on the agenda. So did you have more to add before discussion, Louis, I'm sure?
Yeah, I want to go over the engineering road fund, page 3940. For council and committees, these projects are already in the order that we call 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as you can see, the first 2 priorities are the dump trucks, because we need dump trucks. There has been no capital replacement plan for 11 years. So we just have to get it individually and fight for what we can get. So right now, the street department is in need of dump trucks. And engineering has yielded to streets as the number 1 and 2 for their dump trucks. And if you look at the numbers, $196,000 for a dump truck, those are numbers that are palatable with the legislatures. You get too big and the legislatures don't like to chip in.
Let me say, and I apologize. I was just got a little bad news. So yeah. The legislature, something we need to talk about just a little bit is, and I know Juan can attest to some of this. I know this last year we with the top 5 that went forth on the ICIP list, one of the top 5 was police cars. And we had some feedback, I'll just say it like that. We had some feedback from the legislators about requesting on vehicles. Because a lot of times with money that comes forth with ICIP, the way that they're doing the funding, that funding that they're giving us, those cars will be in a junkyard somewhere before they're done paying, for them, am I right?
Sure, that is correct, yes.
So,
And I will add, Mr. Chair, one of the reasons why is because when they sell bonds to finance a lot of these capital projects and improvements, the state is paying long-term on a lot of those, on that debt, on sales. I think that's, as Mr. Chair pointed out, they're paying on vehicles that have already depreciated. And so that's one of the reasons why they front on funding that type of equipment.
So I apologize. It means nothing to anybody else but our little puppy of 16 years. My son just took him to the vet. They decided they got to put him down. It's a little hard for our family.
Their family.
Anyway, I couldn't do it. So, anyway, so the vehicles, I know that we need a lot of these, Chad. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that. We absolutely have the desperate need, but at the same time, when we've got our legislators that are going to be funding, we've got to, there's a balance.
Absolutely, there's a balance, and it's kind of like the attorneys always say, it depends. But I think we know we need police units. We know we need vehicle replacement plans across the board, across the city. We're going to be working through those issues. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing to fund police cars, but we do need them. So I would encourage that as part of that balance. We shouldn't be asking for police cars, obviously, every year. We ought to be on a replacement plan where we're funding those things and can sustain that. But I think we're playing a little bit of catch up.
Okay. All right, Louis.
Okay, so streets and, based on that, streets and engineering would recommend one dump truck as heavy equipment. And then item number 5, Washington Phase 3
Thank you.
is our 1 and 2. And knowing that item number 5, Washington Phase 3, that's an easy number for legislature. And they have funded the first couple of
Yeah.
phases, so we're just continuing. This Phase 3 would be Washington from Country Club to Berendo. And then we would have completed a corridor, another corridor as we completed Atkins. And I yield.
Counselor Arnold, Counselor Best.
I'm good.
On, if you look at item 27, just remember, what Juan's talking about on item 27, it's ADA sidewalk along South Stanton.
Where are you at?
Item 27 on page
I see
40.
it now. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, basically that is, if you know where the working mothers,
Yes.
is at, this is the west side of their property. They have sidewalk on 3 sides. They don't have it on the west side. And it's roughly, 60,000, but their director requested it be on the ICIP, so that's possibly for another grant or process for them,
And that's Mayor Journey, right?
former mayor.
We still call him mayor.
Okay. Yes.
You always, they earn the title, we continue to call them
Okay,
by the name. Yeah, but Mayor Journey, I know. So I would dare say with that, that's good. I think that's something we do. When we have entities that we're working with, we're more than glad get it on there because I know Mayor Journey will go up there and he'll advocate for that.
and when we did the expansion for them a few years back, that was CDBG projects that the city worked through. They went through the city to get that done. So that's explanation on 27. But again, streets recommends our item number 1 and our item number 5 is our top 2.
Comments, questions? Madam Clerk, are you wanting a 1 and 2 from each one of these entities? Sections?
If we can go through each department and at the end, if you all have been presented with the top 2, a motion to accept
Each section.
from each of the departments, yes.
So now we've got streets and road fund there, so that's the top 2 that they've requested, so. You have it.
The next department is water and water maintenance. I don't see anybody here. I don't know if you're going to present.
I didn't know I was going to, but,
Surprise.
surprise.
There, 1 is number 24.
And if you can see at 41, page 41, it looks like they numbered number 2 there. And it looks on the following page.
Number 1 is in the 24, yeah.
Where's number 1? Yes.
So they've already numbered there too.
Where you at, Jimmy?
On page 41, they have their number 2.
Item
Oh, okay,
Flip over. They have their number 1.
okay.
I mean, they've already got it, so I wouldn't
Mr. Chairman, I would,
mess with it.
say that item 24, the service line replacement project for $2 million is number 1. And Alzheimer water lines is number 2 for another $2 million. And I know what they're doing. We have a lot of lead lines from over the years, and that's the lead, the unfunded EPA mandate.
Mm-hmm. They're wonderful. Okay. Question.
Welcome back.
Counselor Arnold. Counselor Best.
No, sir.
All right.
Don't forget Angela.
Oh, I'm sorry. Counselor Moore, I did not ask you earlier if you had any questions on what we've been discussing so far. Do you have any?
No, sir. I think we should follow along with each, whether what they think they're number 1, or they know better than us, so.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. All right, wastewater treatment plant.
It's going to be hard if there's no one here, and there's no numbers. So you don't have any clue what their number 1 and number 2 is.
What about the infrastructure plan update?
What item are you looking at?
20.
20? Master plan of 2012. That could be done, but I think nowadays it'd be more than 125,000.
I was wondering.
Probably be like 225.
Yeah.
Will any of these piggyback off of yours? Any of your projects that you already have going? Will this move with any of them, moving them a little farther down the road? Or will it help you start any other project that you have?
Well,
Just thinking out loud.
the Brasher Industrial Park infrastructure. I know you've been dealing with that for quite a while. I don't know.
And I'm using that as part of, yeah, that's the storm drain. That's the Brasher project. So we've already got 800,000 to do the design on that.
Right.
And then that ties in with my street stuff, the $3.75 million.
So 25 or 26, which one? Will it be the,
25 since it's cheaper.
yeah.
You want that one?
And then let's go with the item number 8, the re-roof of the test building. That looks like a number that'd be palatable for.
Okay.
What is that one for? What page?
That's on page 43
and
item 8.
43, number 8.
Any questions and discussions on that? Landfill. By the way, thank you for keeping jumper cables at the landfill. Abraham saved me the other day.
Oh, that wasn't my pickup, was it?
No,
Okay.
it was a dump trailer.
Committee Chair, committee members, thank you. Our ICIP, we're gonna to keep up with the capacity of the Legion. Leachate is what we call trash juice. All the liquids that come out of the garbage that we collect and we transfer. Right now, summer gets to the very top. There's a lot of sediment at the very bottom, and a lot of contractors don't want to touch it because the liner has been there for such a long time, so they want to take a risk of puncturing that and creating a spill. Our number 2 is the fuel item relocate and modernization. The way it's set up now, it's not very conducive for the way we do traffic control. You have to back up and back into it. Also, the tanks are smaller. We use larger tanks to use our garbage trucks. Also modernize the pump system so we can actually track the fuel dispensing and the vehicle and the knowledge, and we can track that better for our preventative maintenance for our maintenance. With that,
Questions or discussion on landfill? All right, Mr. Fuentes, how do you want this handled?
Chair, committee members, since you've heard the top 2 recommended by the departments, we can just get a motion and second to approve as recommended by staff, unless there's any changes by the committee members or yourself.
I copy. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to send the ICIP projects as selected by the staff members to consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, and for the ICIP projects for 1 and 2 for the streets, for water maintenance, for the the wastewater treatment plant and for landfill as presented by staff. Any other discussion or questions?
Mr. Chair, just for clarification, so this will be part of the August 13 general meeting, so it's not going to the,
Oh, okay.
it won't be as a consent
That's
item.
true. Yes.
I think it should be, but hey.
So not consent, this is going on the board.
That's right.
For the sticker. For the stickers. All right. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. Let's go on to the design agreement with Country Club Road 4-lane.
Okay, Mr. Chairman and Committee, which I have before you to consider recommendation, enter to agreement with Frank X. Spencer and Associates, FXSA, in the amount of $256,530.23 for full project and plan development for 4-laning of Country Club Road. We all know that that part of town is expanding. J&H will be starting probably again sometime this year with their development. What I'm asking for here is so we can enter into agreement, so we can have the plans, so we can be ready to bid and have accurate construction costs. Figure out how we're going to fund it. I will say that on the budget that you all passed July 14, 2023, you already approved $200,000. So I was looking ahead when we were doing the project planning. And so I have to take the remaining money out of my road fund to cover the $56,000 difference. And you see on the screen, the subdivision, those lots on the Oaks, those are the ones that council has already approved and passed. So to refresh your memory, the Oaks will be all this 800 homes. Their detention pond will be here. He does own this one as well, I believe. And right now the water, if you've seen how it comes in, follow the vegetation and the antelope, then it ends up at Noonock over here, which Noonock Park is just a big old detention pond. So when the Oak starts building, they're gonna have to build a decel and axle lanes for Nevada. And if you look at my ICIP plan for the future, the city will have to take Nevada. This will eventually be a cul-de-sac here, but we'll have to take Nevada down and we'll have to improve this drainage. But for what I'm looking for now is the 4-lane design, plans, and engineer's estimates so we can eventually bid it out in full or in phase. And as you look at the drainage, Country Club and Sycamore is 12 feet higher, 10 or 12 feet higher than Country Club in Montana. So water's coming this way. The first half of the Country Club will turn down Nevada, and we'll also utilize these detention ponds. And then the second half from Nevada to the east, we'll be using this detention pond. So again, we just want, most of the money is already approved in the fiscal year budget. And I'm asking that we enter into agreement with FXSA, Frank Spencer, so we can have plans and specs available. So whenever we do get funds or I can apply for something for what they call shovel ready. And we already have the plan.
You already have as well in Farm Bureau building on that corner now.
Yeah, we have farm credit and then we have
Farm credit. Yeah.
farm credit and then that
Surgical center.
surgical center.
Okay. All right, questions and discussion from,
Is the detention pond at that church big enough for all that?
Yes.
For all that? Okay.
It doesn't look big area wise, but we can put a blade down there.
I cut it deeper?
No, yeah, you can't even see the top of it.
Okay.
That's how deep it already is.
also it's made for overflow and
Yeah, and then it
hops
overflows and it goes to the one by the golf course and what is that road? Brazos.
Brazos, yeah.
And then from there, it overflows and it floods 19th in Montana like it always has.
Nice.
And then from there, it goes down 19th to Garden, turns south on Garden, hits the railroad tracks, goes around the railroad tracks by the Woolbo, then comes back across the railroad tracks, and you see all the water coming out by Allsops. And then down to the bridge on Garden
When it rains,
when it rains.
when it rains.
Anyway, I'm trying to look ahead and be shovel ready for down the road so James can build it.
We'll blame him for all of it, right?
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or discussion? All right, we'll consider, entertain a motion for the agreement recommendation to council.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to recommend entering into an agreement with Frank Spencer and Associates in the amount of $256,530.23 for full project and plan development on Country Club Road to the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion second to send the recommendation for the agreement for the 4-lane to consent at the next full city council meeting. Any other discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same. And all opposed, same sign. Motion passes 4-0. Going to the PO for the streets sweeper.
Okay, Mr. Chairman and Committee, what you have before you is consider ratification of the PO for the purchase of a new 2023 Elgin Broom Bear piece equipment in the amount of $374,052.15. You have a picture of a 2023 up on the screen. I say ratification because we're already getting the PO and you've already passed it in budget. This is just the ratification process. That's what council requests right now.
There
So
once was a day where if we passed it with budget,
It was done.
it's
it
done.
was done.
I don't have a problem doing that. Some of these things don't necessarily belong back in our hands. We've already done this once, but
Anyway, we're going through the process. I'm asking for ratification and to go to consent.
you sure we don't want to talk about it? I mean, it was only in budget.
I got a picture now.
All right. Discussion or questions? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion for ratification of PO request for purchase of a new 2023 Elgin Broom Bear from Pete's Equipment in the amount of $374,052.15 to be added to the consent agenda.
Second.
We have motion and second to send the recommendation for the ratification to consent. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by the same sign. Motion passes 4-0. And now for the PO for the street department for the pothole patch truck. Pothole patch.
Patch truck is what we call it.
Okay.
But I just put pothole because that's what they guys, next slide. You can see the guys, that's the old unit, the 2005, that's basically parked right now because it doesn't even heat up the stuff. So we're down to one patch truck trying to keep up with all of the town. And you can see right there, they're fixing where the water crews went across. They fixed patches where the water crew goes and potholes as well. Again, ditto is the other one, ratification for a patch truck for the $291,898.64. I will say that this is short $8,000 because the budget only was $8,000 less. That's why we need to get POs and the vendors so we can lock in prices. The longer we wait, the price goes up. So the $8,000, we'll get it out of the road fund. We'll figure that out. Just requesting ratification for the PO at this amount and also to go to consent.
All right. Discussion?
No, sir.
We'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion of ratification of PO requested for purchase of a new 2024 patch truck from National Auto Fleet Group in the amount of $291,898.64 to be added to the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to send the recommendation for the ratification to full council on the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 4-0. Department reports.
Any questions on the department report?
Oh, no. Where y'all going? Whoa. Hey, I've not dismissed anybody. All right. Okay, public comments. I'm shocked.
Next meeting is August 24th.
Okay, Rita has nothing. Looks like anyone's.
August 28th, excuse me. Thank you, Rita.
Wow.
August 28th.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I will not be here on August 28th. I just wanted to give you a head notice.
Okay, all right. Counselor Moore, can you look at your schedule and make sure you're able to be here August 28th or join us by GoTo? If not, let us know in enough time because Counselor Arnold is unable to meet with us on that day, okay?
Yes, I should be able to. Now I'm retired and also, just had a new grandbaby, so I should be back situated by then. I may be off of the retirement high by then, and I'll be back in town. And
Well, I was just going to mention that. Congratulations on the new grandbaby. I understand mama and baby are doing well, so
Yes.
congratulations. And you just enjoy that baby for a little longer, all right?
I'll be back in town tomorrow.
Okay, God bless. Be
All right.
safe in your travels. All
All right,
right,
thank
is there
you.
anything else? If not, meeting's adjourned at 5:17.